Welcome to Martial Mentality, a martial arts inspired podcast. Of course, I got with me Coach Joe Blackwelder. How you doing, sir?
Good, Sifu. How are you?
Good, man. Good.
Glad to be here.
How's your week going?
Going good. It's going good. I'm wrapping up a semester in college. And,
congratulations.
Thank you, sir. And just been training.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to be a good father. You know, life's good.
Well, today, I'm glad you talked about training because today I want to talk about culture.
Like in the martial arts?
In the martial arts. We're going to, specifically in the martial arts, we're going to talk about culture. And when I say culture, more or less not necessarily the culture where that martial art comes from, but like gym culture, studio culture.
The traits you carry as a martial artist.
Yes.
Like
or when you train
values.
at a place, what do you see? Because I know you train at a couple of different schools.
Yeah.
I've trained at some different schools. And so I'm curious just to kind of talk about that because I think that's something that we don't normally talk about in the martial arts community, culture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, we'll just start basic, but what is culture to you, Joe?
Well, this is one of my favorite topics and points. And like, it sounds cliche, but it's true. And we talked about this on some of our first podcasts, but like when you become a martial artist, it's, you know, you obviously want to learn self-defense. You want to learn how to fight, you know, but on the flip side of it, it's like you want to learn discipline, self-confidence, you know, you want to find some drive, all that, physical fitness, right? And that's what I look for and what I think about when I hear martial arts culture. I think about all of those things. Like I try to carry these lessons I learn in martial arts outside of the gym.
Right.
You know, again, discipline, respect. Respect
Right.
is like number one.
Right.
So that's kind of what I think of, especially in a quote unquote traditional martial arts. But I feel like any martial arts should have all these things. You know?
So for me, culture should be, and I'm going to take this I'll take it from the Kung Fu aspect, but this goes across all martial arts. So in Kung Fu, we'll call it Wudi or like martial ethics. Okay. And one thing about martial ethics is there should be a code in order to govern the fist. Because think about it, if you're just kind of teaching people how to fight, if you don't have like some kind of code for them to follow, you're just creating bullies.
That's so ironic you say that. Like earlier today, I heard a coach say the same thing, and he was talking about having your own set of rules that you don't like. If you're trying to find any kind of success in martial arts or outside, you know, you create your own rules, code that you cannot and will not break.
Right.
Because if you break those, like, you know, you're going back on your word, you're going back on those ethics. So yeah, that's a good way to think of it, having a code.
You need that. And then even if you study, you know, previous martial arts, like let's take Musashi. Musashi himself started to create a code for himself. That's why his books are so revered, because it's like, oh, right. Yes, he's right.
These are the rules he lived by.
Exactly. And everybody knows he was a natural born killer.
Yeah.
But even this guy eventually started to live by a code.
There's a reason he found the success that he did. I imagine, you know.
Correct. Right.
Living by that code.
So
that's the kind of like, you know, that's the kind of things I look for in any person that's teaching me anything. You know, martial arts, anything, like even college, like, you know, just any random teacher, any subject, you know, but like people need to practice what they preach.
They should.
And if they don't, then like, why should I listen to you?
So since we're talking about culture, one, I think some of these things I'm going to hit on, or we're going to hit on, are going to be like buzzwords. And the first buzzword that I think that you just kind of just popped in my head is integrity. There are a lot of people who do martial arts who do not have integrity.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean training on their own and stuff like that. I'm talking about just having integrity as far as their personality.
Yeah.
And I have dealt with individuals and even trained with some individuals who didn't have integrity. And I stopped training with some of those people because when push came to shove, or when something happened, their true intentions came out, and their true intentions weren't necessarily in my best interest.
Yeah.
Or the people around me's best interest.
Yeah.
You know? And so I had to separate myself because their integrity wasn't there. And so my advice to you as you get more into coaching and you get into this martial arts world is you're going to find sometimes that people are going to want to, especially if they see that you're good or you're, I'm going to use this term, profitable, because they
Mhm.
may say, oh man, he's a good,
Yeah.
hey, why don't you come over here and coach and stuff like that? And maybe they're not paying you what you deserve, or you maybe working crazy hours, or
Yeah.
and you might even get into this with your personal training. Oh, I'm
Right.
gonna pay you this, but da 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 da. People who don't have integrity will use you and
Yeah.
not care about how it affects you or your family or other people around you. So don't let people use you, and make sure you deal with people who have some kind of integrity.
Yeah. I can't say the same for other areas of my life, but I feel like my short time, like trying to, I'm in college now for the personal training and I'm getting my feet wet with some coaching, right? Uh, I feel like I've tried to make a habit of like, especially with somebody I meet for the first time, like there's been maybe a couple instances. I remember somebody walking through these doors and like you gave me the privilege of like taking them through their first, like give them the first day kind of thing. And I try to ask them, what brings you in here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, other than the obvious, you want to learn Kung Fu? It's like, but like, what are you trying to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I feel like, you know, it's different for everybody, but you can kind of get a measure of them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, some people may have bad intentions or not have integrity.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not going to say you can tell everything right then and there, but like, it's important to try to read people or ask those questions. But some people are good at hiding it. Some people don't have integrity.
I'll say now that I'm a better judge of character. Some people can definitely pull the wool over your
Oh
eyes.
yeah.
But unfortunately, sometimes the only way to gain wisdom is to go through experiences.
Mm.
And I've been through some experiences in this school. And some of the stories that I won't get into them tonight, but maybe we can do a podcast where I can tell some of them. I mean, there have been some things and people who, I mean, they could have took this place down.
Mm.
It could have been a
Jeez.
really, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Jeez.
But thank God that, he put his protection around the school and these people, and that, we are still here. But I mean, you have people who, again, and this is in the martial arts community, because a lot of times when you deal with good people in the martial arts, you think everybody like that, and they're not.
Right. Right. And something I've learned just in general is like, it doesn't matter what group of people, like what group of people, what like it could be a job affiliation, like type any group of people. Doesn't matter. Any group of people is going to be bad people, good
Oh, yeah.
and bad people.
Oh yeah.
Every group.
Oh yeah.
So, just because I don't know what a lot of people think when they hear the term martial artist, but like, I feel like a lot of people base it off the media, what they see in the movies and stuff. But like they probably think of those things like honorable, skillful, things like that. But like, nobody's perfect. And like even in this realm, like when we're talking about culture, some people don't really abide by the culture.
Oh no, they don't.
And like you said, back in the day, a lot of people that studied kung fu were gangsters.
They look, hey,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
if you knew how to fight
yeah.
and I was doing some nefarious stuff, yeah, I'm gonna hire you.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that saying about like you don't need to be nice to? There's some kind of saying like you don't necessarily have to have good ethics to be a good fighter.
You don't.
You
don't.
And sometimes it works in the favor.
Yeah.
Ruthlessness.
So ruthlessness is actually something that certain styles teach.
Yeah.
They teach you to be ruthless.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
so when you hear that, you're like, man, like, and when you think about somebody being ruthless, I mean, they'll do whatever it takes to get the job done.
Right.
And so, yeah, a lot of times, like what you see more in more modern martial arts, there's more of a code to govern what we're doing.
Yeah.
There's civility.
Yeah, that's the word for it right there.
There's some civility to it. But again, I mean, we know that when you're in a group with a lot of testosterone and a lot of machismo, what happens.
I just watched a video earlier today, and I guess I won't say the name of the channel, but like either way, big name on YouTube. But it was about professional wrestling. You know, we're talking WWE, all that, and it was when it goes from like wrestling to like they're really fighting in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, now there's a whole thing in professional wrestling where if an accident or somebody hits too hard, they give them a receipt. Have you ever heard that term?
Mm-mm.
Okay. You know how they do all kinds of stuff, right? They smack, they hit, you know, like, well, sometimes, or knee, like sometimes if they do it a little too hard, now the other person will give them a receipt. They'll hit them back. They're not full blown fighting, but they're hitting them back just to let them know, like, you need to chill a little bit. Biggest example of that, or one great example of that, is obviously you know who Brock Lesnar is.
Oh yeah,
used to be a professional wrestler, but he also did MMA and stuff.
Yeah.
Got kneed in the side of the head. He's like leaning over on the ground, and the other guy kneed him in the head, like way too hard. Right? Brock stood up, punched him right in the right in the ribs, and then punched him right in the face, like boom, boom. You know, and it was obviously it wasn't like knockout power, but he really hit him. You know, he probably knew he could have knocked him out as Brock Lesnar, but that was his receipt. So from there on out, got kind of back. You don't necessarily got to back off. You're still doing the match, but like he knows now that I need him too hard in the head. You know so they call that a receipt.
I never knew that.
Yeah. But the whole premise of the video, going back to the topic, was like, now sometimes it goes too far and they're scrapping, and like it was a very interesting video.
That's kind of cool. Well, shoot, I guess when we spar sometimes we got to give receipts.
You got to give a little bit of receipts too. Yeah. If we're kind of going, you know, if it's a light day, we're working some technique, you know, and then somebody, you know, pops you. I feel like it happens more with like people with newer, you know what I mean? Like I said earlier today, I feel like it's two ways with the new person. Either they do hit way too hard, like they're trying to fight, trying to test the waters, whatever. Or they're just pulling everything, like they're timid about throwing anything.
Man, the most dangerous people in the school are usually the white belts and
yeah.
You know, I'm not really scared of the instructors because I know hopefully they'll hold back.
Yeah. And even in like the jiu-jitsu I've trained so far, and like, you know, but like there's a whole thing about like, I don't know about the one I'm in now, but the one I was in previous, like they don't let white belts do like certain like heel hooks. They do certain leg locks and stuff, but like stuff like that, you don't really feel a lot of pain. You just get a little pressure before it's too late. Pop. So they don't even teach you that, because a lot of white belts, so like they'll run into that submission. They get tunnel vision, like, you know, they'll crank it without knowing they have it. See, a black belt knows when they have a submission. They don't need to freaking crank. Even a lot of blue belts, like I've been arm barred before where could have clearly broke my arm. And, you know, I might have tapped I have no you should tap. I was like, I'm tapping, but it's like they knew, and because they have the control to know when they have it. Same with striking. You know, it's like I don't need to deck you in the face, but if I see an open look and pop, I knew that I could have turned my hips.
You could have really like really knocked you out,
right,
or really hurt you,
right,
or whatever.
I feel like it's important to recognize that on the receiving end.
That's true.
You know,
no, that's definitely true.
That's that respect.
So again, going back to integrity, what happens to a lot of people when they spar is they don't have integrity when they spar, because guess what? If you're going light on me and I see that maybe, let's take an axe kick. You take that axe kick and you put it right there and you're just being light. But then I want to take you and then take you down. No, the integrity is,
I could have threw that axe kick.
You could have broke my clavicle.
Right.
But you were being, you know, I need to have integrity enough to go, okay, man, yeah, you got me.
Right. Those situations definitely happen for sure.
You know, and that's what happened to a lot of people. Like when they're sparring or they're working with you, you know, it's like, oh, well, I could have did this. And I'm like, if I'm really throwing this at you, you're probably not doing that.
Right.
You know, but again, not everybody has integrity. And so you just have to go with what you got. So anything else about maybe integrity or in the martial arts or martial culture compared to that?
When you first brought up integrity, you definitely said you weren't necessarily speaking of like not the training outside the gym, but we can touch on that. Like I feel like part of it is that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we only train, say we said the same thing on another podcast, but I'm gonna say it again. Like if somebody shows up, say just for adult class, all adult classes, you know, that's one, and not Tuesdays, just Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So
Mhm.
that's 3.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
A week.
Let's see. Hold on.
Oh, wait. No, you got an hour and a half during the week. So
Four and a half hours.
4.5 hours. Okay. 4.5 hours a week, right? Like, you know, you can learn some stuff. Obviously, you're going to learn some stuff, but it's like, if you want to go to that next level, like part of what you teach is that you have to train this stuff outside of the classroom.
Oh,
Like,
that's where you
have to.
learn the most.
Right. And it's like, I think part of the, like, nobody's forcing you, and it's not the end of the world if you don't. Nobody's forcing you, but either just the training or the culture,
Mhm.
you know, the lessons, that
Mm.
code.
Mhm.
We try to teach you that, and that's something you carry with you. That's
Mhm.
part of that integrity.
Mhm. Yes,
you know?
you're right. No, that's a great point.
You know, even on our creed, well, I'll be disciplined in all areas of my life. That pops in my head when I'm feeling lazy. I promise you it does. And some days I give in to the lazy side, but a lot of days that makes me like, you know what? I can't right now. I have to get something. I have to do what I'm
Well,
doing.
you know what? And that's what creates discipline.
Yeah.
You know, where you okay. I mean, come on, we're all human.
Mhm.
Ah, man, do I really feel like coming in here and practicing these forms or these katas or lifting these weights, hitting this bag? I got the new Ghost of Yote. I want to play my game.
Right. What's a day off, right? But
Right,
it's
right. You
like
know,
that day leads into 2,
That's
leads
right.
into 3.
that's
It's like,
right.
you
That's
know.
right. That's right.
Jocko Willink, I don't know if you know who that is, but like he says, you know, if you're gonna, like, when it comes to procrastination, he's like, you know, everybody needs their rest. Warriors need their rest. Everybody, you know, and you can need a rest day. But if you're gonna procrastinate on anything, procrastinate on that.
Mm. Now that's deep.
Yeah, that's kind of
But I
deep.
like it.
It can be. Some people may think of it as macho or something like that, but if you think about it, it's not really. He's not really trying to be macho when he says that. There's more weight to it than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, when you need to get stuff done, you know, and like we all get tired, but like you can push it a little bit before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I think.
No,
of it.
I know. I agree. I agree with you about integrity. You should have integrity inside the school and outside the school with your martial arts and hopefully your personality.
If I'm not mistaken, that was one of our. I forget what they call it, but like on the ship I was on in the Navy,
Mm-hmm.
we had like these, it was like a code kind of thing. Like integrity was one of our things. I should know what I'm talking about, but like either way, but yeah, doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah.
You know, and this kind of flows into my next thing: respect.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I always thought of like if I was ever to teach anybody or if I was ever to like, you know, I feel like respect that's top of the line. That's number one. Like rule number one. You know, they call it the golden rule for a reason, right? But I feel like even in the martial arts, it's like when you walk through those doors, respect goes both ways.
Oh yeah,
You
it
know?
does. It does. And what happens to a lot of people who, you know, and you're gonna see this, you know, when you personal train, when you coach people, you're gonna have people who are gonna come and challenge you, and you're gonna have people who are gonna be disrespectful to you. You need to make sure that you handle those situations with grace because a lot of times it's easy to lose your cool.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
being the coach or the sifu or the sensei or whoever it is, when you lose your cool, it affects you sometimes worse
Yeah.
than it does the other person who may have antagonized you.
Yeah. The hardest area for me right now is with the kids. Like, I don't feel like my patience has been tested as much. You know what I mean? I've been in the military, like, you know, like I had plenty of times when I was younger, you know what I mean? Many stories, many instances, but it's like, and I preach that you should try to work on controlling your emotions. I teach it to them, but I make sure to tell them like, I'm trying to control mine too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's my job. Like discipline is my job, but it's like, I'm not trying to overdo it. And sometimes I feel like I do, and I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's tough. It's
It
like,
can be difficult.
you know,
And especially like, I think what makes people like us sometimes lose it especially even at our students, our kids,
Yeah.
our spouses,
Yeah.
because we know what they can do.
Right. That's
We know the best part of them.
when it comes to kids, that is exactly
That's what it is.
That's exactly it. It's not like every time I do feel like I fly off the handle, I try to explain myself the best I can that I'm not doing this to like make you angry or mad.
Mhm.
It's like, I know you can do better than this. Like,
And another thing that happens is that what we're thinking when we get upset like this, because I get it. Sometimes I get upset in here, and it's like when you keep doing it, and I know you can do better.
Mhm.
In my mind, you're being blatantly disrespectful to
Yeah.
me.
Here's a good point to make about the culture. I told my kids this the other day, and me and Dwayne were talking about this earlier. Like, the day and age we live in, the whole like trophy. This is just the quote, right? But like the trophy for showing up,
Right.
Like, it doesn't literally mean trophy for showing up. That's a metaphor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I was telling the kids, like, if you're doing something completely wrong, like not even like a bad thing, right? It's not like they're doing something bad. It's just like they're trying to do something to develop a new skill, but they are
Mhm.
doing it completely wrong.
Right. They're
Okay.
not doing it the right way.
Right, exactly. A lot of people will still, say, attaboy, keep trying. And that's positive. Positive reinforcement is good. And you'll never hear me say it's positive reinforcement is always a good thing. However, you continue, you're going to develop bad habits. Like, and I can't just sit there and say, attaboy. I need to tell you to your face, you are doing this wrong.
So that's why the McDojos are dangerous.
Yeah. They'll attaboy
The attaboy
all the way up to black belt.
Right. Attaboy.
Yeah,
You're doing good.
I can't do that. And I was telling the kids that in particular because like their father, right? It's like I have to be that one that tells you that. Like it's not to make you mad. It's a respect thing. It's like if you do this the wrong way for this long, you'll develop bad habits. Like and you're gonna hear a lot of people saying, keep trying, you're doing good. And you are doing good, but it's like you're not doing it correct.
Right.
And it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like that needs to be more. I see why the McDojos could be bad about
You
that.
see that? Right.
Yeah.
Because like no matter how bad you may be,
Yeah.
I'm going to promote you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
Can't.
how bad you are.
Right.
Or you get unlimited amount of chances.
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature. So there's no consequence.
Yeah.
And so they don't learn that.
Right. And I feel like in their head they don't think they're doing it necessarily wrong or doing anything wrong or have bad form or whatever the case may be, But sometimes you need that voice. That you need an honest voice. Like sometimes the person who has your best interest is the one that's going to give you the hard truth.
Right. And so one thing that, and especially in an Asian style of martial art, usually. And when I say Asian, I mean it can be Muay Thai,
Oh, yeah.
we go through the gamut. But those people who truly care about you in some way, shape, or form will tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
That is not good.
Yep.
Do it like this.
Yep.
And so for Americans, we get offended because it's like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
why are you saying that?
Oh my gosh.
What do you mean I'm not doing it right? But what you should think, because remember, I think what happens to Westerners is we got to realize that we are Western style people
confrontational, like
practicing an Eastern style of philosophy and fighting.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, Muay Thai, Kung Fu,
Yep.
Judo,
Yep. Karate, Taekwondo.
So I mean, it's funny because one of my good friends said, "Okay, well, if you're going to learn this, you should learn the culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
You should learn the culture behind it because it will unlock things when you do certain things. You go, oh, that's why we do this.
Even like when they talk about languages, and I don't have much room to talk here, but I do know like some words. When you say some words like in an Asian language, it doesn't necessarily translate to one word over here. That one word can have a whole concept behind it.
Correct.
Fajin, right?
Right.
It's not one thing. It's like, it's a whole concept of like explosiveness.
Exactly. Right. And so
I could say that word, but it's different. It's like you get where I'm coming from. Like
right.
One word or symbol can mean a lot
of different things. And to me, one thing that has helped me actually be better at the Asian style martial arts that I do is I do care about the culture,
Right.
and I try to respect that culture. Since we're talking about respect, I try
Yeah.
to respect that culture because that's part of it. And
Mhm.
by that, you know, some people are like, why do you bow when you come into school?
Mhm.
Because in Asian culture, your home or even the martial area is sacred.
Yep.
This is the place where you train. This is the
Right.
place where you develop. You
Yeah.
know, think about a place where you become better. You want to show respect to that
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
You want to keep this area clean. You want to keep it wholesome. You want to keep good vibes here because
Right.
that's what you should be hopefully developing. Or if you're the type of person where you're trying to train people to kill people, then you're going to have another culture of
Yeah.
when you walk in here, you better be ready to rip somebody's face off. If that's the culture that you're trying to promote, fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm.
But again, whatever you're practicing, whether it be Kung Fu, Karate, Muay Thai, whatever. I mean, you see the Muay Thai fighters, why do they do their thing when they get in the ring? That's respecting the culture.
Yep. It's a whole. They got a whole ritual, just
They
like
have a whole
sumo.
thing, yeah.
Sumo has a whole. Yeah, it is part of the culture. That's right, and it's respect.
And it's respect,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm going to say I'm going to do what you do, if I'm going to do sumo, I need to do what sumo wrestlers do.
Right. That's right.
If
Yep.
I'm going to practice Kung Fu, I need to do what Kung Fu practitioners do.
Yep.
You know?
That's a good. If we can segue into the next thing,
Okay.
I had an idea because I know you love this one, but another part of any martial arts culture should be consistency.
Oh my gosh. Don't
Yeah.
get me started on
Bec-
that. That's-
like when I
Don't
watch
get me
when I
started.
watch the movies like Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi, like I feel like when you're younger, you're always looking forward to like what's the next movie he's learning, like what's coming next when you're not paying attention to the fact that he's showing up every day.
Mhm.
That right there alone to me like deserves respect. When somebody shows up and does something for that long, it's like that's commands respect in my opinion. That's crazy.
In the words of, I'm a football fan, and I've learned a lot about martial arts from football. And one of the things they always say, the best ability is availability.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So guess what? I need you to be available, and I need you to be there. If you're there and you're available,
Yeah.
you're going to get better. If you're coming and doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter how bad you are.
Yeah.
You should be getting better because you're being consistent with
Yeah.
your availability. You are there.
When you say availability, like not to take a dark turn, but like if you've ever experienced like grief, right?
Mm.
So I've heard people say like, because I've heard, sometimes people won't go to things or be around people, even if they don't know them well, like when something happens, because like they're like, well, I didn't know that person, or I don't want to be a bother or that. But like, people will tell you like literally just be there. Just be there. You don't have to say anything. You can just listen. You just be there. That means more to some people than you think.
Man,
Be available.
listen, I have learned that I've had people in my life who've lost a loved one, and if you're just there,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you don't say anything, it may not show that day.
Yep.
It may not show that week, month, year, but eventually
Mm-hmm.
you'll probably hear, "Hey man, I appreciate you being there for me."
Yep.
And
That's
you're
right.
like, I didn't even do nothing. I'm
Didn't
just
even
sitting
do
there.
nothing. Yep.
I was just there.
Right. You were there though. And that alone is big, The same could be said, even like not with like grief, the same could be said for like relationships. Whether it's your spouse, significant other, or even a friend, right? Like being there, being available, consistency, right? Funny story, right? Like I got many good friends, best friends, whatever you call them. I've got one that I always referred to as my best friend because I've known him for so long, since first grade, like my
Mhm.
A1 day one, right? And like we have spent some years of our life where we hardly talk. It's
Mhm.
crazy, right? Like,
Mhm.
obviously we get busy, you know what I'm saying? But like we'll go long times without talking or without seeing each other. But it's like somehow we just know. Like sometimes the phone will ring, we don't answer the text, we don't, we'll get back to you in a week or two,
Mhm,
whatever.
mhm.
But there's been a couple instances where like we really needed each other, and we answered. I don't call it I don't know what you want to call it. It's magic. It's magic. But like there was like one time he called and I was like, something must be wrong. And like I answered, and the same thing happened vice versa. That's like, maybe we didn't talk and like we lose track, but like when we needed each other, like we was there.
But see, that's real relationship. And so
Yeah.
like to me, like when you say that, like consistency. And consistency can be with a lot of different things in your
So
life.
many things. Man.
There's so many different things. And unfortunately, what's wrong with our society is we are inconsistent. Let me tell you this. A lot of parents complain about their children. But you know what I have learned about a lot of parents from teaching parents? That child is not inconsistent. You're inconsistent.
It's one of those hard truths they need to hear.
You were inconsistent.
Yeah.
That kid does what you ask them to do usually, and they go where you're supposed to be.
And they watch you.
And they watch you.
Yeah.
They're inconsistent because you're inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
And it frustrates me because as the teacher, again, this is kind of culture. I would hope that, in a respectful manner, I'd be able to speak to my parents and go, hey, listen, like, I really want Billy Bob to be in class more.
Mhm.
I need, he needs to be here.
Yeah.
And you can tell them that all day, but guess what? In their mind, this is not important enough.
Yep. That's absolutely correct.
This is not important enough, but you want all the rewards of
You
this,
want all those results.
but you're not bringing them enough to get the results.
Yeah.
You're not bringing them enough so they can get ingrained in the culture that we're trying to instill in them.
I got those metaphors about people going to the gym, right? Anytime people tell me, and I just learned about this in college too, they actually got names for phases people go through, right? But like the contemplation phase, right? Like, people come to me, it's like, oh, I don't have time. I want to get in shape. You know the story. You know the story. But it's kind of like I tell people the hardest step is getting to the gym. And that's metaphorical, by the way. I use a lot of those. Maybe it's the kung fu in me, Mr. Like, but like I said that in class the other day and they was like, well, maybe they don't got to go to the gym. They can work out at home. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I didn't actually mean that. Like what I mean is like showing up and trying is the first step. And that's the hardest part, getting up out of bed, whatever, in the morning, evening, showing up is the hardest part, That's the consistency part. Like then it matters what you do. That's what's going to make the change. But the hardest part is getting there. And you have to do that not once, not twice. You got to keep going.
Well, you know what? To speak about that, I think it's better for them to actually go to a gym because at home, you're not disciplined enough. That's one of our other culture words. You're not disciplined enough. You're not consistent enough to make sure you can do it. And you don't have the integrity yet.
That's right. That's right.
To do it when nobody's looking yet. You haven't developed it.
Especially at first. You're
right. You haven't
Right.
developed it. So guess what? I need you to wake up at 5:30 and get to this gym.
Yeah. One of my teachers said the funniest things the other day, but it's true. And she's like, the reason or the main reason people hire personal trainers is to tell them to do exactly what they already know they need to do.
They already know it. They already know it.
I get some people may not have experience in the gym or with exercise. I get that. But like they ultimately know that they need to exercise, diet, etc. Right? So maybe they could have somebody get them started. But now we live in the day of information. We're in the information age. Anybody has information if they just look it up. But like it's really just people just helping them get started, But people do it for the wrong reasons. They won't stay consistent. But that is the important part. Consistency. Whatever you do, show up.
I'm going to also tag this word on the consistency, accountability.
Yeah. That's a whole nother.
Consistency and accountability, in my mind.
The whole personal trainer thing, that's so they have not just themselves, someone else holding them accountable. Yeah.
And that's what I say. That's why I'm saying I'm tagging it on because what happens with a lot of people is, especially Westerners sometimes, we don't like somebody holding us accountable.
Yeah. People will fight it.
Oh, yeah.
Or they'll make up all the, like, I feel like, I wonder what these people really think when they look themselves in the mirror. Are they like literally making themselves believe that they're right? Or like, are they, because I always thought like you can't lie to yourself. That's what I always thought. But I think some people can really not lie to themselves, but make themselves believe that they're right. Like not holding themselves.
Oh man, it's the
excuses, like excuses. And it's like,
it's the ego, man.
It's gotta be.
That's all it is.
Right. Like, do they truly believe, like, if I was just small example, it's like, I want to get in shape, I ain't got the time. It's like, well, let's talk about it. Like, do you think you could cut out such and such time? Or it's like, or somebody maybe hit them with like an actual like rude comment, like you need to get in shape. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, but like when they look themselves in the mirror, is it like, nah, I don't need to get in shape? Are they going to say the same thing they said to that person? Or are they going to say like, I need to get in shape?
A lot of times we lie to ourselves to make ourselves feel better.
You got two voices, right?
Right.
You always got two voices.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Me and Dr. Bill talked about that the other day.
Most people don't go. I mean, now you may have some people do this, but
Yeah.
most people are not going to look at themselves and be like, "Oh, I just look like absolute dog doo doo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just
Right.
fat and sloppy." And
Right.
most people don't.
There's a healthy amount of self-criticism. Like, you need to beat yourself up a bit. You don't got to wear yourself down till you get depressed. That's unhealthy.
Right.
But like, you need to keep yourself accountable. The two voice thing, there's a part where David Goggins talks a lot about that. That's why he's where he is in his life, because he always listens to that other voice. You know what I mean? Every time. Like, wake up. No, don't want to put my shoes on. Put your shoes on and go run 10 miles. He makes the choice every time, So, like, you don't got to be him. You don't got to be,
Right.
But you've always got those, like, for me, I want to sit here and play this game. I want to chill. I want to eat a couple snacks. I want to kick it. I've been working hard. I want a massage. Like, but then it's like, I got to clean the house. I got so many goals. I got goals. Like, I got probably an unhealthy amount of goals. Like, you should have goals, but when you write too many, it's unrealistic. But I got goals related to my music, related to, I told you a long time ago, I'm writing a book. I'm going to college. I'm trying to be a father. I'm trying to rank up in my martial arts. Not just that it's about belts, but I'm trying to progress.
Of course, right. You want to be good.
I got a lot of areas, while maintaining, like, the most important thing, my kids. Like, so when I wake up and it's like I got like a goal list and like a what to-do list for today, the week, it's like, can I sit here for like an hour and just play this game? But then it's like, well, what about this? This, and this, and this. I don't got time.
You don't.
You know what I mean? I have to listen to that other voice too.
You don't.
I'll go through this and I'll procrastinate on the game. Later in the evening, after I get it all done, then I cut aside the time for myself to, okay, now I can kind of rest for a bit, charge up for tomorrow.
That's why, like, it's so funny because, because we've gamed late at night, and a lot of times we're gaming late at night because we're so busy during the daytime.
That's right. And it's important to cut aside some time for yourself. It's not just a man thing. I feel like that's an everybody thing.
Oh, no, it is.
All ages, all whatever. You need time to unwind. Or when people say rest, I think a lot of people think, this kind of relates to our culture, right? Especially when it comes to training hard, like physically, even mentally. There's a lot to think about, right? Or if you're training for competition, that weighs heavy on the mind. So rest does not just mean physically,
right?
At all. Like, it does mean physically, but it means it's not only like go get a massage, take an ice bath, like kick your feet up. It also means stop thinking about it.
That's true.
Get your mind off of it. Relax, meditate. That's why yoga's really good. Like,
there have been times where I have literally had to say to myself, I'm not going to do martial arts today.
That's all you thought about. It's like,
because like, it's so ingrained in my life now.
Right.
That, and I'm sure you're probably seeing it. You're in a school or you're in some kind of martial setting.
Yeah.
Almost every day.
After that late time match, it was like,
yeah,
regardless of any results, like, that was 24/7. That was eat, sleep, drink, dreaming of that for a long time. It was more than a typical. See, I've never been in like fight camps, or like, I'm sure if I did it again or did it more regularly, it would be like a routine kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've never done that. And like, I try to prepare way in advance, and it was like 24/7 to an unhealthy degree in some aspects, So
it's a job.
After it was over, it's like,
it's a job. It's a job, man.
So
it's a job.
Funny story, back on the ship in the Navy days, I used to smoke. And I mean, I was a pretty heavy smoker. Like, I went out all the time as much as I could, get some fresh air. I tell my coworkers, like, I'm going to get some fresh air, going out to smoke. But here's what I would kind of tell them, and I said this as a younger man too. Not that I'm real old, but I was early 20s, right? But I would still tell people this older than me, and they catch on. Like, we would be, trust me. So let me set the stage for you here. Lack of sleep, super tired, like got the upper chain of command breathing down our necks. Like, there's a problem with our equipment. We can't sleep till it's fixed. It's like,
that stress level's high.
Stress is high. We're also in the middle of nowhere, the list piles up, right? Like, but like, I'd be like, we're going to walk outside for 5 minutes. It's like, I don't smoke. It's like, you're coming with me and we're going to walk outside for like 5 minutes. And we actually solved some of our problems that way by like just kind of resetting, or going back to the guy, Jocko Willink. He's got this whole thing about like, you step away, like reassess, recalibrate, re-engage, right? And that's exactly what we did. You come out there, you get your head straight, you walk back with fresh eyes, and it's like, you'd be amazed at what that can do for you. Like, I get it. There's these workaholics out there. We're gonna hard charge this. We're gonna, like, I'm talking 5 minutes here, okay? If you've been at this thing like 24 hours and you ain't got it yet, you can step away for 5 minutes.
Yeah, of course,
right.
Like,
if you're in the heat of battle and it's emergency, that's different. We're like, we can afford 5 minutes here, and we'd step back and then we'd rethink it, and it does so much good for you.
Oh yeah. And sometimes you have to do that with your martial training, which kind of going back to culture. A good school, a good gym should be trying to instill these qualities.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, a lot of people don't realize that. I can only talk about more traditional style. When I say traditional, I'll put quotations around it. The Asian mentality is about longevity.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I've said this quote recently, and maybe it's just, don't train something young that you can't do when you're old.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times you should be able to do certain things when you're older, because one, you should still be able to at least participate.
Yeah.
And martial arts is one of those things that you can participate in when you're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. We see people doing that.
Right.
Unfortunately, with some martial arts experiences now, like especially like more MMA, you have a shelf life.
Oh yeah.
You can't take that beating forever, especially if you're going to do it competitively. Right. And this is your job.
It'll take its toll.
It will.
Some people are insanely tough, and they can take it for a long time, but like, it will take its toll one way or another.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yep.
Okay, so eventually it will catch up with you, and all that wear and tear that your body has taken from all those battles. Even though you may have the greatness, you got the belts, but again, you want to be like Chuck Liddell and not be able to close your hand?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Now, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, you incur consequences on how tough you are on yourself.
Right. Right.
And like you just said, you got to rest. And eventually, and we've talked about this, sometimes you start training so hard, you start to hurt.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I've only been in the jiu-jitsu for like a couple of weeks. Like, I trained it last year some, but like just recently got back into it. And, my elbow's been sore, and it's like my elbow. I recently, like couple months back, got like the tennis elbow, and I think it was from pull-ups because I did a bunch of pull-ups, so I kind of stopped. But both of them have been a little bit sore just recently, and like I got a good group of people there. They're not breaking my arm, but we're practicing these arm bars, and like even a little bit of pressure that I'm not used to over and over and over. I'm like, it has to be that. I'm just not used to it, So you have to kind of ease into things.
You do. Like I said, I've been dealing with some Achilles tendonitis. I'm feeling better.
Good.
But again, I'm like, I don't need to push it right now. Not yet. Yep. I need, I'm getting better. I'm feeling better. I'm easing back into things. And sometimes when you do martial arts a lot or any kind of physical activity, the body will say, whoa.
Yeah.
You need to pull back on that just a little bit now.
You keep reminding me of too many good stories, but it's like, I told you I grew up skateboarding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my brother's 5 years older than I am. And we went to a skate park. I think this was last year. And this is probably, I still get on my board occasionally. I got a son that likes to skate. I'm not doing tricks like I did in the past, but I got a mini ramp at my house. Like I still hop on the skateboard. You know what I mean? And
His ramp is cool, by the way.
Yeah.
I one day we got to show a picture on this podcast. That thing is cool.
We'll get some clips soon enough. But like, and then I think Kung Fu's helped me with this. But like aging, has helped me with this. But he hasn't stepped on a skateboard in a long time. But he's also got this personality, man. He's he rode a bull one time, 2 times actually, and I left a comment because he posted the video. I was like, messing with the bull, you get the horns. But like, he was like, ha ha, laughing. I was like, I was talking about him, not the bull. He's a freaking, he's gonna go. That's the type of person he is. Like, we get to the skate park, right? And there's a big vert wall, so it's a quarter pipe, but it goes way up, straight up, right? Like, he ain't been on the board. Now, he used to be a heck of a skateboarder. He still is. Like, he'd get back into it, but he would, go fast, freaking do the biggest jumps. Like, even on his dirt bike, he does big stuff. He'll go for it, right off. Like, I told him the whole way up there, I'm like, ease into it. And like, he drops in and pumps the ramp. When I say pump the ramp, it means it's like you bend your knees at the bottom. It shoots you forward, like when you drop in to get more speed. Flying at this thing, goes all the way to the top, gets a little wobble, smacks the freaking concrete. Like, smacks the concrete. He's like 38, you know what I'm saying? 37. And he bounced right back up. Thank goodness. Like, but he came back like, ow. Like, you were right. I was like, I tried to tell you. Like, the rest of the day, he did his thing, but he was, for the first time, it's like I seen him a little bit of caution, and he's got kids too. So it's like that's obviously a huge factor. Like, honestly, if not, he probably would have like hit it even harder the second time. But like, yeah, just long story short, the more of the story is like, especially with age, like, I see new people come in and they want to hard spar, or like, I'm like, let's kick the bag. It's like, now some people don't have the technique, they can't hit it, but some people want to nail that thing as hard as they can. But it's like, we're working on technique, or, let's see your 1-2 or, your hook. And it's like, wow, I'm like, slow down.
Right.
Let's work on like pivoting, let's work on the technique, the fundamental, ease into it. That's all I'm trying to tell them is like, even though my kids are really young, I'm trying to tell them, with a lot of their activities they do, you're not going to be a pro overnight.
No.
And so don't rush. Like, when you rush, you're probably hindering yourself. It's going to take longer if you try to rush into it.
Well, and a lot of times, like, the media, we see
the best of the best.
We see the best of the best. We don't see all the failures. We don't see,
the tip of the iceberg.
Right. We don't get to see all the behind the scenes where they failed thousands of times.
Hours.
They've been knocked out, or they've been hurt, or they're recovering. We don't see that. We just see a lot of times. Sometimes we see it, but a lot of times you're seeing the glory. You're seeing what they are now. So you're like, oh, I want to be like that.
And people compare themselves. That's what they do. They see these people and they compare themselves with them, when I feel like that's not a healthy way to go about it.
It isn't.
Like, you see the best people, and it's like, I don't know. I think martial arts, as far as culture goes online, is probably one of the worst. Like, everybody's a freaking martial artist in the comments, man. Like, I hate to even go there, but it's like, golly, like, we got a lot of experts, too many chiefs, no Indians.
Let me say this again with culture. This segues to the next thing.
Right.
Keep your ego at the door.
Yes.
If you, and I'm going to say the word like this, when you walk into a school, you should be submitting to the leadership of that school. If you plan to be a participant in that school, that means what the instructors say, I'm going to do.
Yeah. If you're not going to listen to the teacher or the coach, what are you doing there?
Leave.
Right.
Respectfully.
Right.
you
Right,
know,
right. Like
just
you can
respectfully leave.
you can take yourself elsewhere. Like that is the point,
Right.
you know.
You know, so if you're not going to, you know, like I have a student here, I don't like to do forms. Well, you're going to do form
Right,
because that's part of what I want you to do. That's part of my curriculum. If you don't want to do forms, leave.
right,
But you're going to have to do some kind of form work because one, you need it.
right, right.
And
It'll help
two,
you if you actually try.
if you actually try, if you would actually do what I'm saying, but you get these people who they've just
Yeah.
learned to be combative.
Yeah. I heard someone say before like that they didn't have any confidence, you know, who was training. Like I never have any confidence in any areas of my life. It's like I've never seen you put in any effort.
Mm.
And listen, it's like this is a big point. I've been thinking about this lately. It's not putting in effort because somebody told you to, like your mom, your dad,
Mhm.
even your coach. Like everybody's going to tell you that, but until you yourself say, you know what, today I'm going to try. But once you tell yourself that and you actually do it, that builds confidence. That
It will.
creates confidence.
It will.
So
And again, all these. So again, going back to martial arts culture, because you make a good point. What we're technically trying to do is we're trying to create that Woody, those martial ethics, and the byproduct of the training creates the integrity, hopefully the discipline, the
mhm,
consistency, the accountability,
yeah,
the confidence.
yep, confidence, yeah, all of it, the respect, the passion, you know, like, yeah, if
And
you do it properly.
Being confident. Some people confuse confidence and cocky.
Yeah.
I could be confident and not
Well,
be
yeah,
cocky.
there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny Easter egg here, but the first chapter of my book is I'll just give you a quick layout if you care to hear.
Yeah,
Like,
clear. Oh,
okay.
yeah, I want to hear.
So it's been done before. Like it's what people would refer to as probably a self-help or a motivational book,
Mhm.
right? Okay, it's been done, but like I put my own little twist on it, so it's mine. But like the book is called The Climb,
Okay.
a composition of life lessons written by Joseph Blackwelder.
Okay.
So, and then it's got a whole epilogue, all this. It tells you kind of the layout, but it's, I think 10 or 12. I don't remember how many I did. I think I did 10 chapters. It's not labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4. Each chapter is like the name, like the first chapter is actually titled Respect. And it's me putting my own story from my personal life teaching that lesson.
Mm.
And it's the Lei Tai fight.
Mm.
And then I got like 9 more from other cool stories in my life.
That's kinda
like,
cool.
You know, so I thought that was interesting.
Well, when you
Yeah.
get it published, we gotta
yeah.
we gotta read the book
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
gotta review the book on
Yeah.
the podcast.
It'd be cool. That would be awesome.
that would
a
be
dream
really
come-
cool.
I'm hoping to have it finished, and I'm going to say it on camera here by the end of the year. I
That'd
don't
be
know
cool.
about. I'm not saying published, finished,
Okay.
writing, final
Okay.
draft. So
Okay.
you heard it here first.
There you go. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. So there's some martial arts stuff in there on chapter 1. It gets pretty dark after that, chapter 2, but then there's a bunch of cool stories in there. Bunch of cool stories that like a lot of people can probably relate to. You know.
Well, I
So-
mean, listen, hey, I think a gentleman told me today that still kind of trains here, but you know, he's doing other things, but like he said, you were who I needed at a certain point in my life.
Mm,
And I was like, what? Like when he said that, it kind of hit me.
yeah.
And sometimes what you don't realize is that you are what people need at certain points in their life.
Yeah.
You may not be in there, you may not be what they need their whole life,
Yeah.
but you may be what they need at a certain aspect of their life.
And if you weren't being accountable, consistent, you know, have integrity, you might have missed that window. But the fact that you had those things in that culture, you just affected somebody in a positive way. Being there in
Yeah.
that point in their life.
And this gentleman called me today. He said, I just need to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, and it was nothing bad. He was just trying to figure out a life decision.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said, man, I really appreciate you thinking about me enough
Yeah.
to want to get my opinion.
Yeah.
Like that meant a lot to me.
Right. That's nice.
And so, like, again, when we're coaching people or teaching people, sometimes those are the things that we miss because sometimes it's easy to get caught up over other things.
Mhm.
But to me, those are the most important things
Yeah.
about ever training anybody, teaching somebody martial arts. Because one thing that I can say with confidence and looking in this camera is that most people who come through this school, I have saw that if they actually do the training like we asked them to do,
Mhm.
they usually become successful in their life.
Right.
They
Right.
may not ever become Bruce Lee,
Yeah,
Michael
yeah,
Jai
yeah.
White,
Right.
but
Right.
successful people, I have seen that firsthand.
Mhm. Mhm. Those it's funny how like a lot of the lessons we learn in martial arts like are metaphorical to real life situations
They are.
that have nothing to do with fighting.
They're
You know,
right.
first
Right.
off the line,
Right.
like all kinds of stuff. Like we could do like a little we could do like a cool little video one day where we go over stuff like that, like compile a list of things we do in our fighting that actually correlate to real life.
And you know what's funny? A lot of people, again, going back to the culture, a lot of people, and I say this in class, and you probably remember me saying this, you will use your martial arts more so daily in your regular life than you ever will physically using it against a person.
Right. Right. Mentally and physically,
Mm-hmm.
mentally and physically.
So again, if you
Being efficient.
yeah,
like
yeah,
being efficient. Like
yeah.
my favorite part of like Cobra Kai is when he's Mr. Golly, what's the name's he's teaching Robbie, not his dad.
You're talking about Danielson?
Yeah, Daniel-san is teaching Robbie. Like he hires him at the car wash. or
Yeah,
the car,
yeah,
the
yeah.
car
I
lot,
remember that.
and it's like he's over there jacking the car up like this. He's like, turns over and like using his body, and like
Mhm.
he's in there for like got a mess full of papers. He's like, comes in, stacks them, boom, boom. It's like simple stuff like that. It's like how Mr. Miyagi taught him. Wax on, wax off. It's actually true. It's actually true. Like you can be efficient in everything you do, and I see it a lot. It impresses me when I watch people who've done their job for a long time, not just because they had to, but like they're passionate about their job. It can be something simple. I've walked into like the packing places like FedEx and watched people package up a box, but they do it with
That skill,
the
bro.
utmost efficiency.
Yes.
It's insane. And I've been around a lot of carpenters who really take pride in their work, and it shows. So, like I said, your kung fu is everything you do.
It is.
It's what you
what
do.
you put your time and effort into.
Yeah.
So again, like you treat it with respect, you treat it with integrity, you show accountability.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of other buzzwords that we can go into about culture. But my advice to anybody who's listening to this, if you've never if you're in a school and maybe the culture doesn't fit what you're looking for, maybe you need to find another school that fits that culture, who will give you some of the things that you're searching for, because not every school is built for everybody. If you want to compete, you need to find a school that competes and that will breed that culture of competitiveness that you want.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to just be a better person, find a school that can do that. And of course, a competitive school can do that. But again, maybe that's not the culture for you. Whatever it is, find what works for you. And then once you find that thing, like what did you say earlier? You listen to that other voice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Listen to the one of discipline.
Listen to the one of the yes.
Listen to the one that's telling you the hard truth, the real
Yes.
truth. It could be something as simple as that piece of pizza, a nice, tasty, warm piece of pizza. But it's like you said you were going to go on a diet, so which one are you going to listen to?
Mm-hmm.
It can be simple, it can be big. Big business decision. Big life decision. Don't hold yourself back. Sometimes you need to listen to that hard truth voice.
You do. And
Be honest with yourself. Keep yourself accountable.
yes, you should. And so again, like martial culture is something that I feel like our society is missing. And I wish we could employ more of it in the schools, in our jobs, things of that nature, because I'll be honest, yeah, we don't always get along here,
Right.
but normally this place runs pretty efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have a lot of issues and problems.
There's I've been coming here for about 3.5 years. I've yet to have one day where I left in a worse mood than I came in here.
And that's good.
Yep.
That's good.
Not one single time.
That's good. And that's the way we want to try to keep it.
And I've came here in a bad mood before. You know,
Me too.
I'm sure I know you have. Like that's like, and we talked
Me
about
too.
that on another podcast. Like
Yeah.
that's another one of them parts of the culture you got to kind of develop is like, when you are trying to help people or influence people or be there for people or be accountable even for yourself, like you have to control your emotions.
Oh
you
my
have to be
gosh.
accountable. Like you got to bite that tongue. It's so, it can be tough.
And in fact, even with, some of the people here, sometimes like people are human and we have to give people grace
Mhm.
because not everybody's going to have their best day. And sometimes like it's interesting that how much experience you learn from teaching other people. And so now I was just talking to, like I said, the gentleman earlier. I told him that now I'm seeing my role change from maybe being the guy that was always able to kind of be on the floor as much.
Mhm.
I'm kind of overseeing a lot more because
Yeah,
now like there's more people.
Right.
So you're trying to touch everybody in some way, shape, or form. Like, okay, let
Yep.
me help you. Let me help this group. Let me help
Right.
this group.
Right.
And so I don't get a chance to maybe spend as much, personal time as I did with, when we were smaller.
Yep.
So
That
as you
makes sense.
grow, things change. And so, but again, we want to try to keep that culture because that's what's kept us through COVID,
Yep.
through times where maybe we don't have as big of a student base, to times where we've had a huge student base,
Right.
to sometimes where we've had some students that have maybe caused some issues.
Mm.
But guess what? Because you can always go back to that culture, that core, the Northern Shaolin School of Kung Fu continues to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. And whatever it is that even, whatever your legacy is, Coach, I'm going to tell you that stick to your principles.
Yeah.
Because if you stick to the principles, it'll last.
Yeah.
But you got to have that conviction.
Mm. Yeah.
If you're not convicted on it,
Yeah.
it will just crumble. I promise you.
Gotcha.
But if you have that conviction, if you know, like, no, I'm gonna do this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna stick to my guns. I mean, real quick, and I know we got to get off, but look at some of the corporations that have been around for years now.
Yeah.
There are certain qualities and things that they do that keep that. I mean, of course, they're making good business decisions, but it's what they're doing, those qualities that make those companies. You go, I'm gonna go to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go eat at McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's could have crap food. I don't really like their food like that, but guess what? McDonald's is one of the biggest restaurant chains on the planet.
Yeah.
But why?
Right.
What are they doing that creates the culture that people want to go to McDonald's?
They've certainly stuck to their guns.
They
They've
have.
stuck to their formula.
And it works.
Clearly, it's
Clearly,
working.
it works.
It's still working. It's still.
And
I'm
they're
loving
not
it.
going to change. Yeah,
Right.
I'm not going to change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we got to be the same way where, okay, these are our guns. We're
Right.
going to stick to our guns. And whether
Right.
either you get with our program.
Right. There's a certain aspect of like adaptability, but adaptability doesn't mean changing your core values.
That's right.
So like
That's right.
you can change, that kind of stuff, but like it's not like you're changing your principles
Right.
or your code. If you let that guide that guides how you adapt, I would say.
Right.
So yeah. I'll keep that in mind because conviction's a big one that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about as much.
Yeah. And whatever
I kind of
it
think
is,
of like there's steps to it, right? Like you got motivation. Motivation comes and goes. You got drive, a person who's driven. Now that's like the next step up. But then the next step up, like conviction.
you got to be convicted, man.
Yeah.
When you are convicted,
Yeah.
bro, like
You're going to do it. Like you're going to, yeah.
the best thing that I can
You got to believe in what you're doing.
the best thing that I can think of is when I hear the word conviction, I think about, and I'm not trying to be, religious on this podcast, but I think about the disciples of Jesus.
Mm.
And that, no matter what you believe, when they say he rose from the dead and
Mhm.
they saw him, those men, women, whoever, and they started preaching the gospel out to people, they were so convicted, they were willing to die
Right. Right.
for
They
what they believed in.
wholeheartedly believed in what they were doing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like they were so convicted.
Yeah.
People
And-
were being stoned, crucified upside down.
Yeah.
Conviction.
Yeah. when you believe that deeply in what you're doing, like you'll find a way. You'll like envelop those things we talked about. Like you'll find like you'll have to keep yourself accountable, and you know all that. Like if you believe in something that much, you're gonna find a way. You know what I mean? You're gonna find a way to do it. And we go back to personal trainer, martial arts. Some people do it and they have that voice telling them what they already need, but like you find that conviction, like you're gonna find a way to do it. You
So
know?
I think that's another word, conviction. Yeah, I mean,
It's a good one.
you don't really think about it, but you know, I started I started doing karate and kung fu because I like martial arts. But then I got convicted
Mm.
that this works.
I've heard people use the term obsessed, but like some people use that term in a negative light,
right.
where that's not where we're coming from. Like when they say obsessed, it's like it's kind of like conviction. You need to believe in what you're doing.
Right,
Like that's
right.
why you said you needed to force yourself to take a break, because you wholeheartedly, like every day you thought about it. It's like, so yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. When you're convicted, of course, you want to make sure that your convictions are based off of, substantial facts and reality based things, and that what you're doing does work.
Yeah.
But when I realized that my karate and my kung fu or whatever other martial art I was doing worked,
Yeah.
I said, no, I'm convicted. This,
Yep.
I need this.
That's right. Every time I've told people about it too, I don't give them a whole life story, but it's like, it's very cool. It keeps me going. Like simple things, right? Like I like to work out, but like I'm not the type to go lift weights every day. Like I do like weightlifting, but like it's not my favorite. Like martial arts keeps me consistent with physically working
Right.
out. That's only one thing, but like, everybody's got their issues, right? Me included. But like it helps me on that side of things. Gives me clarity, gives me focus, gives me drive, gives me conviction. It helps me. Like I got a passion for trying to help people, and I can do it through this.
Through this, yes,
So-
yes, yeah. So it's been an avenue for me that I never thought I would be motivating anybody in my life. I won't even lie to you.
Yeah. Look at you now.
Now look, yeah, I'm like, oh
Look at you
wow, what
now.
happened to me? You know,
Right. Right.
but I'm blessed that people do take my words of wisdom, and I take that seriously.
Right.
So that's why I make sure that I try to ensure that I am of the best utmost wherewithal to ensure that I'm giving good advice.
Right. Right. That's what you won't find in a McDojo.
Right. Exactly.
You gotta have a good teacher, sensei, sifu, coach, whoever it may be. You got to find somebody who kind of believes in what they're doing.
Right.
And it'll show. It'll show for sure.
So any other things about culture, man? This is actually a really good topic. I like this
It is.
topic.
It's a deep one. It's like we haven't really touched on this in a while. I feel like our first few podcasts, we was all about this right here. We was talking about all these core values and stuff. But like, it's good to go back to that stuff sometimes. So I guess the only thing that's kind of hitting me right now is there's so much out there you could tell new people, but it's like if somebody who's listening, just find your own set of like what matters to you, and stick by that, So find your own set of things that you believe in, or things that help you, or things that, you would like to instill in others, and start to try to live by it.
Conviction.
Yeah, be the example, right? Too. I think a lot from a standpoint of fatherhood, because that's like that's the biggest thing in my life right now, But it's like you got to be the example, you've got to be the superhero. Like you got to be the man, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, so like be the example you would want to see. That's
Right.
what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Be the example you would want to see. Like, so regardless of fatherhood, just like in your own life, picture what you would like your life to look like. And look, it's not going to happen overnight, but you make those small steps toward it and you actually work toward it. That breeds confidence. Then you'll take the next step. It's like, you develop those values and you start to live by them.
Well, I'll say this and we'll get off, but I tried to be the instructor that I would have wanted, because sometimes even some of the people that I've trained with, and I've trained with a lot of people, so I'm not saying any names or pointing anybody out, but I have seen that sometimes the qualities that were important to me weren't always important to the people that I train with.
I see.
And so sometimes I'm like, no, well, if I ever get to this point to have a platform, I want to be like this.
I see.
I don't want to be like this.
Right.
Even though that person may have skill and they have something to teach me, because you can learn from everybody.
Right.
I want to be this type of instructor.
I see.
I want to be this type of martial
It's
artist.
funny you said that. I've always tried to believe that too. Like you can learn something from everybody.
You can.
You know?
Oh no, you can. You can. You know, like you just said, you said it a while ago, like some of the best fighters aren't nice people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can learn how to fight from you, but I may not learn how to be the person that I want to be.
That's right.
From you.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So again, you got to make sure that you are, you know, again, what are you looking for? You know, what are you training for? We say that a bunch.
Yep.
What are you training for?
That's right.
What are the qualities? What is the culture? What are the things that are important to you? So when you're looking for a martial art, gym, teacher,
what you want to do with your life, that's a big topic for like the younger crowd. You know, everybody's always like, what are you going to do after school? Or, you know, you're going to go to college. Like, you know, like it could be that. It could be anything. It could be what you currently do. Even your hobbies. Like people have like hobbies and they just do them as they see fit. But like, you know, you don't do something because you know, as one of our coach Mike, like he always says, you don't want to do something to suck at it. Put your best foot forward.
Right.
Try to get good at it. Put some effort into it.
Effort.
It'll make you feel better about yourself.
Effort.
Like,
put some effort in. Put some work into it.
Effort creates confidence.
Kung Fu, it means hard work. Do your Kung Fu.
Yeah, that's right.
Practice your Kung Fu. Practice hard work.
Yep.
You know, when we say practice Kung Fu, that's all we're saying. Practice hard work.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah, we got to go. I told you about the guy. There's a guy in the military. He was older than me, but he ranked up. Like people liked him, and he was so smart, you know. And it wasn't like this stuff was just given to him. I watched him. I was in school with him, and then I was on the ship with him, and I watched him through those years, just how he carried himself. It wasn't because anything was given to him. He earned that respect because he showed up. He put his best foot forward every day. You know, controlled his emotions, like, and I learned from him. I learned that, and I started acting that way. And what it did for me, like, it changed. Like, I started seeing, like, people was acting that way toward me, the way I saw people act toward him, you know, because he had all those values, I suppose. So,
and that's a good thing. And just see how that man affected you.
Yeah.
By his actions, his example.
Just that's alone. Like there was no long conversation like this. It was just simply working with this guy for a couple years and seeing how he acted, setting that example, the respect he got from people, you know, like respect he got from superiors and subordinates. Like, and then even outside, like we had the sailors, right, who worked on the equipment, but we had these like people who had retired from the Navy and got out and worked for tech companies that would come helping us because now they're like super smart. They'd be asking him questions.
That's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Like he set the bar, and I realized, like just watching him, like it's how he carries himself. It's what he does.
Again, and so
he's earning this.
When you become that personal trainer, when you are coaching, you want your students, your clients. Man, I want to be like Joe.
Yeah.
I want to carry myself like Joe.
I try to set the best standard I can.
That's all you can do. And guess what? A lot of times, you'd be surprised how you affect people just by being who you are.
Yeah. That's what that guy taught me.
Just by being who you are. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to be religious on this, but going back to just Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, hey, I want to be like that guy.
What's the one name in the world everybody knows? Jesus. Right. You even get the rare person who might not know Michael Jordan, but everybody's heard Jesus.
Knows Jesus.
Yep.
The man was so great. I mean, let's be honest about it. He pretty much divided time. You got BC before Christ.
Divided time.
I mean, think about it. Mm-hmm. How big do you have to be that you pretty much split time itself? Oh, BC before Christ. What?
Yeah. That's crazy.
AD means after Christ, basically.
Anno Domini.
Anno Domini, yes, after Christ.
If I don't know.
Yes, I think you're right. Anno Domini. I didn't want to say it wrong.
Right.
But yeah, after, like, what? Like, wow.
Yeah.
What kind of effect did you have on the world that time said?
You know what? We're starting the clock here.
Yeah.
You know? Like, and this is what we're gonna. That's it's a lot.
You think about it,
Yeah.
and that's not trying to be like religious or
Right.
but preach to anybody, but like wow, like what kind of influence did you have?
Right. That's what I think.
Think about it.
That's what I think of. Like, how? And this is before the internet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They wrote books. They wrote the Bible. Like,
yeah.
this is before the internet. This is before phones. This is back in the day.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yes.
So, how was your influence? Like,
right.
What kind of example did you say?
Right. So you think about that. So in this respect, when we are teaching our students,
mm-hmm.
what kind of effect are we going to have on them?
Right. Right.
Like,
and they'll carry those things with them through the
100 years later. It's something that you instill, still being instilled in somebody else.
Yeah.
River's son, Sissy's son, Sissy's daughter, River's daughter, their grandchildren.
Right.
What's going to be that seed that you put now that is going to last for generations?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why would I do anything less than my best?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Why would I do anything less? And I kind of think of those things like, I don't think of it enough, but that thought definitely crosses my mind when I'm trying to teach them things. It's like, why would, or even when I'm not teaching them things, when I know they're watching me and I want to be lazy. I want to be pardon my French, is like, I want to be a lazy piece of crap. I want to eat junk food and sit on the couch. I do. I truly do. I got that lazy bone in me. But it's like, maybe in the evening when my day is done, I can sit there for an hour and chill. But like, they're going to see me sitting there all day, like if I don't do nothing. And it's like, they watch.
They do.
They remember. So.
I'll tell you this, and we've been saying this. We're you can tell we're from the South, y'all. Yeah, we're about to go 30 minutes
I'm usually
later.
not this bad about it, but this is it's like, it's gold. It's not, we're not rambling on this one. These are gold nuggets for you guys. Like, seriously, this stuff means something.
I look at these past ancestors, and sometimes like I'll go, one day I may be on somebody's wall, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody may be showing respect to me because I passed on to the next version of whatever.
You wonder what they're going to say.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, what are they going to say?
Right.
What will they remember?
Yep. That's right.
And now we're in an age where we can like.
After you go, or even like, I'm one of those believers in like, you shouldn't care too much about what others think. But there's weight behind that. It's not like you just completely don't care. It's like, you should take it with a grain of salt. But nobody can help but wonder, like, what people honestly think of you, or what they, it's not like a high school drama thing, like what they say behind your back, but it's like, sometimes you wonder how, like, your friends or people you've met, what they say about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And so, one day, like, one day, when you pass on, and like River's grandchild, what are they going to know about you, you know?
Right. What's he going to say about
What's he going to say? It's like, it's weird to think about it, but we're at that age where we're thinking about those things now.
Yep. And I know how I think of like some people that have passed on, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's how I would be explaining it to them. You know what I mean? So how you act and like on a daily basis and like things you instill, that's what's going to go through.
You're right.
So,
I mean, I'll use Master Lewis as a good example. We started a Master's Memorial to honor him.
Yeah.
And then when some of the other masters in our area, some masters had passed away, we included them in there. And that was our way of like ensuring that we don't forget you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That we show the respect of the things that you have taught us, the community that you guys have built.
Right. Based on what you said about like what people say, I've never even personally got to meet Master Lewis, but like I'm a firm believer of like believing what I see, but the people, what I hear being said about him, and it's not just what's being said, it's who's saying it. I know he was like a good man.
He was.
You know what I mean?
He was a very good man.
Right. And I know he affected a
man.
lot of people.
You have no idea.
Right. So going back to what you're saying, like he clearly had like everything we were talking about, so all those morals, like he set the bar.
He did.
He set a high bar.
He did. I learned Even though he was never a instructor of mine in the respect of, oh, I'm your student.
Right.
But I learned so much from this man.
Yeah.
And he took the time out with me in his last days. Here, Delmar, here's my Boken. Here's my EIDO book. I want you to have this book. Make sure you look at it, read through it. Here are some of the things he shared so much with me. And I was like, okay, I got to make sure that I follow through with this. Because this is important to him.
Right.
And he's instilling something in me.
Yep. People that carry themselves that way and teach that way or have all those, you tend to have a lot more respect for them. But if somebody says something like that, you'll listen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You will listen. So
they carried a lot of weight, and we would have personal conversations. He would call me. And this is almost right before you started coming here, but he would come in, and he was in his older age, but when he came through the door, oh, Master Lewis, no, you teach class.
Yeah.
Master Lewis, you run class.
Got respect.
You know, I don't care what I had on the docket. It doesn't matter.
Right.
If you want to, you could talk to us, I don't care.
Right.
It is your floor.
Yeah.
And everybody here who was with him, they always remember something positive about him or how he influenced them and things of that nature. And so, again, how could I not listen to the man that was on Chuck Norris's bodyguard team at one point?
Right.
And I got that picture of him and Chuck. I had to show
nice.
you. I got a picture of it's a good picture of him and Chuck. But either way, he was a great example of just martial culture and ethics.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll try to live by his example, right?
That's right. That's right. And so again, he probably was one of the people that, he exuded that. And so he was a person that I saw and I said, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be like him. And people who didn't do martial arts knew him and talked glowingly and still talk glowingly about him.
Something I've learned about people, especially people with not big egos, big personalities. People with big personalities, when I hate using the word idolize because you're not idolizing, but when people with big personalities say they were influenced heavily by someone, it's probably true.
Yeah.
Really true. I always was that way. I didn't want to try to be just like any person, but it's like you have these people in your life where you see them, it's like, I want to be like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. I wish I'd have got to meet him, He
was a great guy. Great guy.
I'm sure I'll learn a lot of what he taught through you. And then, like I said, also every now and then train with one of his students. So, that's pretty cool. I'll soak it up. You know what I mean?
And I'll tell you this. You see what kind of skill he had through his students.
My goodness, yeah.
So that just shows you how good he was.
Yeah. Yeah. It's impressive. It's very impressive.
Yeah. So again,
yeah.
He was phenomenal. So anything else about martial culture? Because if not, we're gonna have a 2-hour podcast.
Yeah, we'll probably call it there. But I guess the last bit I'd say for anybody watching, think about everything you heard tonight, and sleep on it and go take some action. That's another thing we didn't touch on, but we'll stop it there.
Yeah, we'll stop it there.
Because action's that's the next, that's another thing that could be incorporated in culture. Action oriented. Be action oriented. So
I agree. Yeah, it and to quote Master Yoda, "Do or do not. There is no try."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go. Don't be afraid to fail. Get out there and do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do something.
Do something.
Action.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Action should
there is
be.
No try.
Yes, there is no try.
Yeah.
Try means you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Do or do not. So, you're right. Be action oriented.
It can be so simple. It can be all your buddies. As you get older, you tend to part ways. You don't see each other as much. And every time you say, let's hang out. And even if you get a little more specific, let's hang out on this day, you hear, I'll try. That's you just say no. Just say no. You're not going to try. Either you will or you won't.
That's right. That's what it is.
That's right.
You will or you won't.
Yeah. You're not going to try. Like, we're talking about hanging out. We're not talking about going and winning $1 million or going to compete in a fight. You know what I mean? We're talking about hanging out, and you're going to try? No, you're not.
Listen,
You
know,
are, you're not.
What I have learned in my seasoned age, because I am not old, but I will say this: you make time for what you want to do.
That's right. That's right.
You make time for what you want to do.
Yep.
Because I found people who make time. You can be broke, and I'm like, where you get that money from to buy this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can do this, but you can't do this.
That's right. No, they don't want to do it.
That's what it is,
they
right?
Don't want it bad enough. You do what you want.
Right. And then when you say something about it, man, what you mean, man?
Yeah, the people that go to be talking about going to the gym and they're not sure. Like, I do the whole spiel about going to the gym. That's the hardest part than what you do. But I usually hit them with that quote too. Like, you have to want it bad enough.
You do.
You got to want it bad enough.
You do.
You have to.
You do. Well, I really enjoyed this topic. This was great.
Yeah, that's some gold there.
It was refreshing, and again, one day in the future, 100 years from now, what will they say about martial mentality?
Hopefully they'll be viewing and subscribing and hitting that like button.
I hope so. I hope somebody. I hope somebody has taken it over by then and continued the legacy.
I used to be a very quiet person, and I heard a old guy say one time, he's like old, kind of like country guy. It's like a short term job I had. This guy, I heard him talking to one of his employees. He's like, my grandpa always told me, when you got something to say it. I was like, you know what, you're right, because like if 100 people hear you and 99 say screw that, but that one person says, you know what, that really helped me, it's worth saying.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Got something.
You know
to
what they say? It only takes one.
Yeah.
That one person you influence could be an influential person that could affect thousands. You don't even know.
That's right.
You
never know.
Heck, again, going back to Jesus.
Yeah.
A carpenter in the Middle East. No, a gentleman born to a carpenter in the Middle East is one of the most controversial figures in human history.
Yeah.
People are like, what? Huh? That guy?
Yeah. Well known.
Well known.
Yep.
People, you love him or hate him.
When you said too, like, always respect who comes through that door. You never know who they are. I'm glad I take that to heart. I've seen new people walk through the door and, hey, how's it going? Can I help you? But, there was one time a gentleman came in and just like kind of looked around for a second. I'm like, hey, like, how's it going? What, Sifu's and teach. Like, I was very respectful, as respectful as I could be. Turned out that was your sensei.
Mm-hmm.
So, I took what you said to heart. Like, I would never let somebody walk in if I'm the one standing there and they're like, no. I was like, hey, how are you? Like,
you never know
what brings you in. Like, can I help you? Would you like to see Sifu, etc.? Whatever the case may be.
You never know. You never know. Our new student, Dan got some skills.
Yeah. I haven't got to see him move yet because I was out today.
Look,
he was. I did talk to him the first time he came in, just for a second. He mentioned Shotokan, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan's got some skills.
Yeah.
But Dan's really humble about it. And I'm like, oh, Dan.
He might. Well, see, humble people, they're not going to come through the first day and tell you their life story. He keeps coming over time. We're going to get tidbits.
I know.
Today you learned he went to Japan a few times.
And I was like,
He did Shotokan karate. Like, he's not going to give you the full story right off the bat. He knows some stuff.
Yeah, he does.
He knows some stuff.
He really does. He really does.
That shows that he's humble.
Yes. Yes. And so, I really
black
like
belt
him.
won't come in and say, I'm a black belt. You know what I mean? Like, not even saying him or anything, but like a black belt wouldn't go to a school and say, hey, I'm a black belt. Like, you're humble. So. Yeah, he knows some stuff. Sure.
Yeah, he does.
We could probably learn some stuff from him.
And you know what? I think we will, because the more I because today he started counting in Japanese. It was interesting because we were just doing something. He started counting. I said, okay. And then at the end of class, I kind of threw out a little nugget. I said, oh, I want to see. Mm-hmm. And I was going to say it first, but he said it before I did.
Thank you. I got those.
Yeah, I said, he said, oh, I got those guys. I was like, you're playing me. I know you know something.
Hit him with the bow.
Right. Yeah. I said, I know you know something.
Yeah.
And so he kind of laughed. He chuckled.
Right.
And so, but I really like him. And I'm happy that, so far, what I'm blessed about is that everybody in our school seems to be adhering to the culture.
Yeah.
And we have a good positive culture, and I want to keep that. And for those of you listening out there, if you have Marshall schools or you run a gym or you just whatever you're doing, even in your own home, have a positive culture.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
We need positive culture in this world. We got enough negative culture.
That's right.
We need positive culture. Please, I beg of you.
Yeah.
Just be good people, raise good people, teach morals, teach values, be convicted.
Like, you can blame everybody else for it being a negative environment, but like, look at what you can do to better it first.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because you could be the difference.
That's
you
right.
could be the difference in that. Like, and nobody I know who has suffered from any kind of depression or mental disorders, like, or anything, like, none of them want to be there.
No.
If anybody, like, nobody wants to be in that place. So, it's a real thing. It's not a stigma, but like, there are things you can do, avenues you can take to start to make the process better.
That's right. That's right. So again, thank you for listening to us rant for the past almost probably an hour and a half, but we really appreciate it. Me and Coach here, we're just passionate about what we do. We really enjoy martial arts. We think it has a lot of good qualities that will help individuals just be better people, physically, mentally, spiritually.
Yep.
And that's just what we want to do. And so we want to spread that. So hopefully this has helped somebody. And again, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And this is Martial Mentality signing out. Peace.